By clicking on this video, you recognize yourself as a Survivor superfan, an individual that doesn't just watch Survivor every week, but they're always craving more from this TV show. And you probably have a majority of these players' names memorized. Today, we are going to test that theory as we embark on a crazy adventure, ranking all the new era Survivor players from worst to best. Starting things out in the worst tier, we have Jackson Fox. Starting things out on a sour note, just like how when looking back at it, Survivor 42 also started out having Jackson Fox medically evacuated out of the game due to lying to production about his medication, not only taking a spot away from a different person who has the dream of playing Survivor, but it also put his tribe at a huge disadvantage to start the game. But jumping back one season prior to Survivor 41, we have number 71, Sarah Wilson. For obvious reasons, you can expect the first boots of the season to take a majority of the placements early on, and it's for good reason. They did bad on Survivor. If we are going to be as objective as possible, that's what we need to do. Episode 1 of Survivor 41 was a double boot episode, so technically she wasn't the first person voted out. We'll be saving that person for a little bit later, but Sarah was voted out of the first new era Survivor season on episode 1. And while we're talking about this infamous new era of Survivor, we need to bring up, for better or for worse, Survivor changed forever with the introduction of the new era. Most things people would argue are for the worst, but that's besides the point. In terms of the characters and players, there was 3 very key improvements that were made. Number 1, the diversity mandate, making sure people from all walks of life were playing Survivor. Number 2, consistent editing of the players, so none of the players were forgotten about. Obviously, there's a big exception, and we'll be talking about her soon. And finally, allowing Canadians to play the greatest game in the world. So with that said, when going through these rankings, we are including all the players from Survivor 41, Survivor 42, Survivor 43, and Survivor 44. If you're good at math, then you know that means our job today is ranking 72 players from worst to best. And before everyone starts yelling at me in the comments, although I view this as the only correct ranking of these players, there's going to be moments where the rankings get a little bit subjective, so please try to stay calm in the comments down below and let me know what you think of my rankings and what your rankings look like. As we move into number 70, Mariah Sharon. Ultimately, this is just a bad bounce for Mariah as she was placed on the same tribe as Jackson Fox, meaning after already beating down a tribe member on day 5, they couldn't risk losing another challenge. And with Mariah being the older mom on the season, she was the one that needed to go. And keeping things simple and easy to follow at number 69, Mariah Young. Same exact reason as Mariah from Survivor 42, we are now talking about Mariah from Survivor 43. This one personally hurts me as I was pumped to see Mariah play Survivor with all her fun pre-season press, but a major flaw with the new era of Survivor and these 3 tribe formats is the necessity to keep the tribe strong, and for whatever reason, the perception of Mariah from her tribe was making her out to be the weakest member. But we are jumping back into Survivor 42 with the classic nerd archetype with number 68, Zach Werdenberger. This Adam Klein clone was seen to have tons of winner potential during the pre-season with the visual resemblance to Adam Klein, the obvious superfan energy, and it's kinda crazy he even does Survivor casting help the same way Adam Klein does. And although I rank Survivor 42 as one of the better new era seasons, we already have mentioned 3 players from that season at the bottom of our list, and we are adding another one at number 67, Jenny Kim. So if you're keeping track so far, that means we have 1 person from Survivor 41, 4 people from Survivor 42, 1 person from Survivor 43, and we are yet to rank anyone from Survivor 44. Jenny is the first person we are talking about that I think I might get some people disagreeing with me in the comments for. Jenny showed tons of potential for being a strong Survivor player, but got stuck in a messy situation of the new era Survivor, making people lose their votes with small tribes. If you remember this insane tribal council we had, multiple people being unable to vote, and a crazy tiebreaker consensus saw Jenny voted out.
Before we get to that though, we have another Survivor first. There were only 2 votes cast, which means 2 people did not vote.
Number 66, Eric Abraham. This is where things are getting a little tricky, as Abraham was the very first boot of the new era of Survivor in season 41. So you would think I would rank him in dead last because of this. But with chatting Survivor with him a little while ago, I wouldn't be able to do that and live with myself.
He is the best Russell in the Survivor community, hands down. Let's get this guy in here. Russell from Russell Muscle TV.
Number 65, Lindsay Carmine. During Survivor 43, Lindsay got super lucky that her tribe didn't lose an immunity challenge until day 9. Because in my opinion, if they lost any sooner, Lindsay would have been voted out of the game sooner. Sadly, the same issue we'll continue to talk about with the older mom on Survivor, but the big issue with Lindsay is she let her paranoia take control and make her allies not trust her. Moving into the next player on our list from Survivor 44 with number 64, Helen Lee. Our first representative from Survivor 44, Helen gets put in a tough spot here, being the third person out of the season, as I'm saving Bruce for later, as production saw something special in him and Maddie was idled out of the game. But we do need to remember Helen did give us something special, as it was her vote out that formed the iconic Tika 3 alliance that I feel like we won't be talking about for a long time. Number 63, Gio Bustamante. Look, I'm gonna be straight up, I don't think Gio has the thing that makes up a good Survivor player. Just a whole bunch of things, like fighting with Cassidy, unaware he was on the bottom, blindsided at the Lindsay vote, and telling the power player Carla that he had the knowledge is power advantage. Simply too many mistakes too early in the game for Gio.
Shoot, someone could make a really big move. But then I paused and I said, yeah, someone could make a really big move on me. Does he know that I have an idol?
Number 62, JD Robinson. Low key, this one hurts me to place JD so low in the rankings, as I felt his energy and love for Survivor out there on the island. But similar to Gio, way too many mistakes early on had him played like a fiddle, as Shan sang the Shantham over and over. Lesson of future Survivor players, you just can't be giving people your advantages. Number 61, Jeannie Chen. When looking back at Survivor 41, the Green Ua tribe is almost only remembered for the dynamic duo of Ricard and Shan, meaning the rest of the tribe is probably gonna be forgotten about. That's exactly why Jeannie is being placed right here. She makes this spot higher than JD, as she would make it one extra tribal council than him, and that's it, that's all. Number 60, Justine Brennan. So as I'm making this list, I'm feeling like Justine got placed way too high, as at first glance you're probably asking yourself, what did she do? And don't worry, that's why I'm here to answer that for you. The highlight of Survivor 43 was the relationship of Cody and Jesse, and it was such a bizarre and iconic moment early on in the game for Cody to randomly decide to get Justine out of the game because she was in sales.
Yeah, for sure. My fear is Justine is a salesperson, so I've always got like this stereotype of.
Justine's a threat. Like, she seems sort of lethal.
Number 59, Sarah Wade. It's becoming super clear how stacked the new era Survivor casting is, with a lot of players coming up I view as good players that just got a bad bounce in the game. And that's a big reason why I'm so done with 3 tribes of 6 players each. Although it ended up being a fake idol, gotta give Sarah props for being aware enough to find an idol, and she wasn't simply voted out from a majority. I would argue the only swap screwed player in the new era, with Josh playing idol he got for free to get her out of the game. Number 58, Nneka Ajeer. It feels bad to say the same thing over and over, with the older woman being the easy target early on in the game. More speculation on my part that she could have gone far in the game if her red Vessi tribe happened to not lose that challenge, as Cody and Jesse would have kept her safe with how emotional they got with voting her out. I promise this is the last time we are talking about an older woman on Survivor, well, until we talk about her later in the video. Number 57, Swathi Ghul. Guess what the opposite of an old person is? That's right, a young person. Going into Survivor 42, everyone thought Swathi was going to break the teenager curse on Survivor and being the best teen to ever play the game. That person was me. I said it in multiple videos how excited I was to see her play. However, classic big move-itis and overplaying her hand caused the blue Ika tribe to not trust Swathi, as Tori exposed her plan to vote out Drea. Lesson of future Survivor players, you don't need to make big moves early on. Number 56, Lydia Meredith. Not gonna lie, I was debating putting Lydia in the top 10 players of the new era of Survivor, just for the memes and the jokes. Really, there isn't a path for a player like Lydia to win Survivor in my opinion, but at the same time, it just feels rough that she didn't, I'm gonna say it, earn the merge.
They will unknowingly give that player a historic amount of power, and the question's going to be, what will the player do with that power? This one may ruffle some feathers.
Number 55, Sydney Siegel. Going from one earn the merge player to another, we have Sydney from Survivor 41 ranked slightly higher than her Survivor 42 counterpart with Lydia. Both of these players were put in the unfair twist of earning the merge. Both have a funny sense of humor. Sydney is simply ranked slightly higher for her physical strength. Number 54, David Voci. Make no mistake about it, if we ever get a Survivor second chance season or Survivor pre-merge all-star season, I 100% need to see David Voci return to my television screen. Like, come on, the neurosurgeon Survivor villain who played up the villain card so much during all the preseason content, giving confessional gold only to be yet another player screwed over by the small tribe format of the new era. Number 53, Maddie Pamela. Now, before you yell at me in the comments for placing the first person voted out on the season ahead of 19 other players within the new era of Survivor, please hear me out for a second. This was one of the most wild tribal councils of all time, with multiple shot in the darks being played, the first ever shot in the dark being successful, and with a hidden immunity idol played, this was the definition of a player getting idled out of the game with no control. But next up, we have the biggest hot take in the entire video with number 52, Xander Hastings. Stay calm, and all you casual Survivor fans that love Xander, don't be yelling at me in the comments. If Xander received a vote, like a single vote at the final tribal council, I would have placed him much higher. The issue is nobody in the game respected how he played strategically and socially. This was just an awful mistake from the Survivor producers overhyping his game. Number 51, Janine Zhang. And although she made the merge, the next person on our rankings placed worse than her, so I kinda need to explain them together. Number 50, Dwight Moore. I decided to place these two players back to back the way I did in these rankings. Well, because first of all, they were both made a fool by Jesse stealing Janine's idol, and no one in the game having any clue of this. But during the pre-merge, Dwight was able to survive two separate tribal councils where Janine only attended the first of the season. Number 49, Claire Rafson. Although she only survived 7 days in the game and sat out of 3 consecutive immunity challenges, it's the small things about Claire's game that place her in the 49th spot, like exposing the various advantages and trying to make an ally with the other players sitting out of the game.
To the island show you anything when you got back?
She said she lost her vote, so we don't even know if she got
He
it.
showed us a thing that said I lost my vote. So I like you.
Number 48, Heather Aldrich. From Survivor 41, who are we talking about again? Making it 25 days in the game, Heather received a grand total of 13 confessionals and going multiple weeks without a confessional. Bottom line is the producers did her dirty and we have nothing else to go off of. Number 47, Brandon Cottom. Probably being way too hard on Brandon, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I haven't been able to forget when he needed to sit out from the very first immunity challenge of the season. Number 46, Bruce Peril. Call it a hunch or placing my bets and trust in Jeff Probst, which I know Jeff gets a lot of hate, but he is kinda amazing at his job. Bruce is in last place in the bottom of our rankings because he was the first boot of Survivor 44, but Jeff saw something special with him, bringing him back for Survivor 45. So we'll have to wait and see if Bruce has anything else to offer for Survivor. Number 45, Brad Reese. What elevates Brad Reese over all the players under him is the Tony Vlachos-esque gameplay he was going for. Now, am I saying Brad had potential to be like Tony, the GOAT of Survivor? No, of course not. But he showed Tony qualities with understanding deep down Survivor's a game, and the players should be having fun. Brad was able to find a vote steal advantage, a hidden immunity idol, running around spying on tribe mates, and targeting players directly to their face. Now, it's the same story over and over with there being nowhere to hide with these small tribes. tribes, and being placed on the struggling green Ua tribe, Brad was an easy target for his unpredictable nature. And from the same season of Survivor 41, we have number 44, Liana Wallace. Now, this is gonna be a placement I have a feeling people are going to hate, but newsflash, I think Liana is overrated as a Survivor player. The issue is there were too many mistakes stacked on top of each other that you just can't look past, whether it be leaving the SA4 alliance, constantly fighting with Xander, wasting the knowledge is power advantage, or losing our closest ally in Shan. However, the next player on our ranking survived less days than her at number 43, Kane Fritzler. This one personally hurts me, with Kane being one of the few Canadians to play Survivor, and the rest of the Canadians we hopefully won't be talking about for a long time. Look, if this was a subjective list, I'd be throwing Kane in the top 20, but I just can't help but wonder if he did anything in the game. Kane had a rough start on day 1 and never recovered from that after the merge. The next player wasn't able to recover from smashing the hourglass with number 42, Rockstroy Bailey. If Rox applied to Survivor 20 years ago during the original seasons, I have no doubt he would have rocked it. No pun intended. This dude is your stereotypical old school Survivor player. He made history with smashing the hourglass. The issue is modern Survivor is going at a pace much too fast for this dude.
Sometimes everyone deserves a do-over.
I went back and I changed history.
Number 41, Ellie Scott. If ranking Kane at 43rd overall hurt me, ranking Ellie at number 41 takes it to a whole nother level. Pre-season for Survivor 43, she was the player I was most excited for. Let's just roll this very poorly aged clip.
Potentially a winner pick. I think it's between Mike and Ellie for my winner pick of the season.
Number 40, Daniel Strunk. The textbook definition of the Jacob Derwin type of Survivor player. This is the type of dude that's going to swing for the fences and play the game hard for the limited amount of time he is in the game. Lesson to future Survivor players: don't simultaneously betray all 5 of your tribe mates at your very first tribal council. Number 39, Tori Meehan. Tori started the game strong, but not gonna lie, I think she started the game too strong, forcing alliances too much with her tribe mates, making her seem fake, put her on the outside of the tribe early on in the game. Sure, she had the physical strength, winning a couple of individual immunity challenges, but the same story as Daniel, came out of the gate too strong to be a good player. Number 38, Deshaun Radin. This is gonna be a spicy hot take, but Deshaun got extremely lucky being placed on the blue Luvu tribe to start Survivor 41. As we all know, this tribe never lost a challenge, meaning Deshaun slid right into the merge. Although in a big power position, he made so many blunders, making him have 0% chance to win. 1. Blindsiding his ally. 2. Burning bridges with Erika. 3. Sealing his fate with dropping the truth bomb.
If I do go tonight, I would like to just throw out some more information just to spice up the game a little bit. No false information. This is all very true.
Number 37, Sammy Leviti. Fun fact, did you know Sammy is only 19 years old? Starting Survivor 43, I had little to no faith in Sammy, simply from teenagers sucking at Survivor. However, week after week, I thought Sammy was proving me wrong. On top of this, his lie about being older than 19 seemed to be working. It comes down to 2 things with this dude: trying to play in the middle too much and not having enough agency in the game. Lesson to future Survivor players: just don't be 19 years old. Number 36, Josh Wilder, or better known as Dr. Joshua Wilder. I was tempted to put this dude near the bottom of our rankings for having literally 0 control throughout his entire time in the game, but we gotta put some respect on Josh's name for surviving 13 days without any power. Also, I'm a sucker for idol plays, even though the idol was given to him for free, but whatever.
Jeff, I don't want to take any chances, so I'm going to play my hidden immunity idol.
Number 35, Owen Knight. Pre-season, the Survivor community was pumped to see this superfan in action on Survivor 43. Even though he did make it all 26 days, yes, Survivor isn't 39 days anymore, he seemed to have 0 control, 0 say, and 0 power in any decisions going on. It's cool to make it to the final 3, but being the 0 vote finalist is always sad to see, especially if your nickname is Charlie Brown. Number 34, Heidi Lagares Greenblatt. at. Another spicy hot take, although Heidi made it to the final 3 and actually placed second in the game, same story as what we just said with Owen. Making it far in the game is one thing, going far and making moves is another. This is a little subjective as I'm not a fan of quiet games on Survivor, but it's mad impressive that she now holds the fire making challenge record. Number 33, Ryan Medrano. This dude was one of the hardest for me to rank so far, simply from the type of game a person like Ryan's gonna play. It's obvious the general Survivor superfan community does not really respect the physical game out there, which is fine, I guess, but personally that is one of my favorite parts of Survivor. I loved his backstory of overcoming so much, but his strategic game was weak, and I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of fishy to say you're gonna throw a challenge after you lose a challenge.
Or should I knock these 2 balls off? Kind of made that decision to throw the end of that challenge because I've been trying to put out Cassidy.
Number 32, Hai Young. Fun fact, this is gonna get some hate. I think Hai is an overrated Survivor player. Sure, he made it past the merge and some spooky tribal councils, but it doesn't matter if you make crazy moves early. You need to make moves the jury will see. Ultimately, another huge strategic mastermind that we won't be talking about for way later is the reason Hai's Survivor adventure ended early. Number 31, Danny McRae. Same sort of thing as Ryan, who we ranked 33rd, as Danny is obviously a physical beast playing in the NFL, but I'm not sure if he had the strategic chops for a game as mentally draining as Survivor. Fun fact, Danny is actually a beast on the show The Challenge, so if you're a fan of the competitions like me, make sure to go check it out. Number 30, Nasir Matlov. Another prime example of the blue Luvu tribe saving so many people during Survivor 41. In this video alone, we have Deshaun, Danny, and now Nasir all not going to a tribal council before the merge. Let's be real, it makes it kinda hard to rank these players fairly as they had a straight path into the second half of the game. However, much like we have given players respect for the physical aspect, we gotta give Nasir credit for the survival aspect of Survivor. Number 29, Cassidy Clark. Do me a favor and leave a comment down below if you are a Cassidy hater or a Cassidy supporter. I'm gonna let the comments decide if we ranked Cassidy too high or too low. This one is so hard to judge, and I'm not gonna lie, you Survivor fans are kinda obsessed with her. Number 28, Jamie Lynn Ruiz. As we all know, a great Survivor performance comes down to tons of skill, but sadly tons of luck as well. I'm sure Jamie has some of the skill that comes with being a decent Survivor player, but on the flip side of things, she also had tons of bad luck throughout her time in the game. It's a bad balance when you tell the truth about an idol and no one believes you. Number 27, James Jones. This guy for some reason gets tons of heat in the game for things like his rivalry with Owen and not managing his threat level when he found the crazy knowledge is power advantage. But fun fact, I have met James in person. He's a super cool dude and a big fan of the channel. So James, if you're watching this, what's up? Number 26, Chanel Howell. If you remember the pre-season of Survivor 42, Chanel and Hai were hyped up to be just like the duo we saw in Survivor 41 with Ricard and Shan. While we won't be talking about Ricard and Shan until future videos in this series, there is a reason why Chanel is ranked 26 overall and Hai ranked 32nd overall.
Hi, Chanel.
Hi, Chanel.
Sure.
Hi, Chanel. Chanel, the tribe has spoken.
Number 25, Evie Jogata. Possibly the hottest of takes in this entire video series so far, and I can guarantee a bunch of you are yelling at me in the comments for ranking Evie right here. Evie would have been ranked much better if they could just keep the good old yellow Yase tribe together. In my opinion, it made zero sense turning on each other that early in the game, and I already ranked Liana and Xander way lower. Number 24, Mike Turner. As you can tell, I put zero respect on players that make it to the final 3 and don't have things to show for it. The big issue with Mike here is that he actually had tons of things to show for his game. However, he took the coach route and talked to the jury about playing the super loyal old school game, when in fact he should have been honest about being a backstabber. Number 23, Lauren Hart. Okay, so this one is tough and filled with tons of speculation. Like, if you ask my grandma, who was a casual Survivor fan, she would say, "Who's Lauren?" Lauren. Lauren received basically zero content throughout the season, but with exit interviews and behind the scene details, it seems like Lauren was a power player with a big chance to win the game. Number 22, Tiffany Seeley. I love me a good underdog story, and seeing Tiffany struggle early on only to find her footing was a great story, but I don't want to repeat myself. I'm just not a fan of the Yase 4 alliance. Number 21, Matt Blankenship. I loved the energy and heart that Matt showed throughout his time in the game, but it was a sloppy game for sure. In my opinion, the weaker part of the showmans we got to see.
It's like game mode. My heart just starts pounding.
I've been dreaming of this day for so long.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow.
Number 20, Matthew Grindstead Malley. We are starting this video out with a bang and a spicy hot take. I bet 99% of you watching this video were expecting Matthew to be ranked rock bottom in these rankings. No pun intended.
Oh my god. Is he okay?
Is he okay?
This dude is the prime example of the potential of being a great Survivor player, except in the wrong place, wrong time. I get it, he was really stupid for falling off the rock and getting hurt, but he came into the game with so many different strategies. Number 1, using the shot in the dark to hide his target. And number 2, convincing Jamie she found a hidden immunity idol. It might make you shake your head with Matthew's ranking here, as it's all speculation if he didn't pull himself from the game. Let me ask you, does that mean he quit the game? Anyway, a huge issue I see within the new era of Survivor is the luck versus skill component. I don't want to say classic 39-day Survivor was actually easier than the 26-day new era version we see today, but what I will say is the older version had a much larger emphasis on skill, not luck.
I want to give individual immunity to Natalie.
If you are asking me if I think the new era Survivor is harder, no, I definitely don't think so. However, I do believe there is a much larger element of the game out of the player's control. The part of the game we can call luck.
Time to bring you in on another big twist. So big, this is a 2-part episode. So no tribal tonight. Nobody going home.
The list can go on and on for ideas and aspects of new era Survivor that places this higher emphasis on luck, but it boils down to not letting the players play.
There's another twist to today's challenge. The player who lasts longest out of everybody earns for their team immunity.
So please try to stay calm in the comments down below and let me know what you think of my rankings and what your rankings look like as we move into number 19, Drea Wheeler. Fun fact, when Drea was voted out of the game in Survivor 42, I made a whole separate video on her rise and fall in the game. I'll always think it's cool when Canadians play Survivor, and it was a 2 birds 1 stone with her occupation being a fitness consultant. If you didn't know, I'm a personal trainer and a swim coach. Drea started the game strong with multiple advantages, however her luck ran out, and I'll just roll the clip of what I said in the rise and fall video. So while Drea may have been voted out after having so much power in the game, I would argue the community still wants her to return in a future season. Number 18, Romeo Escobar. Part of me thinks it's hilarious ranking Romeo 1 place above Drea, almost giving him the last laugh here. I can already see the comments yelling at me for placing Romeo this high, even though I placed other 0 vote finalists way lower. Here's the thing, I don't care. Romeo had a top tier early part of the game on the blue Ika tribe. However, Romeo's physical strength does not compare to the next player on our list, number 17, Frannie Marin. Most known for her showmance with Matt throughout Survivor 44, Frannie was also known for her physical dominance. You would think a showmance would put a target on your back, but that didn't affect Frannie. What's actually the best part and most impressive part about Frannie's game is also what hurts her so much. Like I just said, she's a physical beast.
Brandon drops. It's over. Frannie has done it. Frannie has won immunity for her entire group.
She She had the opportunity to save her closest ally if she dropped out of a challenge. And on top of that, winning back-to-back immunity challenges placed way too big of a target on her back. Number 16, Jonathan Young. This dude is placed 16th overall in our rankings simply for being a beast. I get it, you Survivor superfans value the strategic game more than the physical game, but in this case you gotta put some respect on Jonathan's name, Challenge Beast, period.
Hold on! Jonathan is carrying the ladder on his shoulder, and that ladder is no joke.
Number 15, Noelle Lambert. Although she only has one leg, she showed so much heart throughout her time in the game. Noelle is another one of those players that showed so much potential, and I think if she had a redo at Survivor, would perform much, much better. Over and over again, she would make an alliance with someone only for that alliance to get blindsided. Justine Brennan and Dwight Moore were both victims of forming an alliance with Noelle, but here's the deal. We are in the new era of Survivor, and our Lord and Savior Jeff Probst loves to show dramatic moments.
Noelle in one of the biggest comebacks in the history of Survivor has just won the biggest reward of the season.
Number 14, Carla Cruz Godoy. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Beware Advantages, it highlights the strength of Carla's social game with being able to navigate the beads to form a hidden immunity idol, and being savvy enough to vote Gio out when he told her about his knowledge is power advantage.
Of course I was excited. I was like, shoot, someone could make a really big move. But then I paused and I said, yeah, someone could make a really big move on me.
Not gonna lie, I was tempted to place Carla in the top 10, but I felt like I couldn't with her wasting her idol the final 6 and failing to win the final 5 challenge despite having an advantage in it. However, the next player on our list was voted out that very same tribal council where Carla wasted her idol with number 13, Cody Ashamasher. I know. When making these rankings, I promise to be as objective as possible, but dude, I'm just a big fan of Cody.
Right before Tribal was easily the most craziest emotional ride I've ever been on. It was terrifying.
You want to give Cody your beats? I got you.
Cody almost pulled off the Fabio type of win, acting like a dumb bro, but unlike Fabio, the crazy antics was just a front for his strong strategy. Survivor 43 showed us the top tier duo of Cody and Jesse, number 12, Shan Smith. Obviously, this dynamic duo I am talking about took place in Survivor 41 with Ricard and Shan. For how much Shan was hyped up in Survivor 41, I was surprised when looking back at it that she only made it to the final 8 and day 19.
I played a good game and this was a dream come true. I love you, babe.
Shan, tribe has spoken.
However, the producers loved everything Shan was giving throughout her time in the game, and it showed with the amount of screen time she received. Shan pulled off some crazy moves in the game, people telling her about their advantages, people giving her their advantages, being down in numbers at the merge, only to find herself leading the majority alliance. Shan is a player that would have easily made it into the top 10 if she made it a few more rounds in the game. But our next player made it to the end of the game with number 11, Mike Gabler. Spicy hot take, and I'm for sure gonna get some hate for this, as Gabler is the first winner we are talking about in these rankings, and he didn't even make the top 10.
The winner of Survivor 43, Gabler. That's 5, that's enough. Thank you. We have our winner. Thank you.
Not gonna lie, I was super tempted to place Gabler way lower, but the fact alone that he won the game puts him right here. Let's not forget his only move came at the merge, and then he turned into the alley Gabler, hiding in plain sight. Oh yeah, and he wanted to be voted out day 1. Number 10, Carolyn Weegar. You either hated her or you loved her, and I'm definitely on the side of loving Carolyn Weegar. Being underestimated throughout her time in the game, all the other players thought she was crazy. And yeah, not gonna lie, she is crazy, but she used that to her advantage, so no one knew the strategy she was playing. Going to be a little bit subjective, as I'm just a sucker for the Tika 3 alliance of Survivor 44, as we're going to be talking about the other 2 later in the video.
What do you mean, am I going to change this? To what? Me? Oh, no, we believe you. Yeah.
I am not, I swear on everything.
Same.
everything.
Also, huge shout out to Carolyn for, well, shouting us out on Twitter for the fight against Russell Hantz. If you didn't know, I'm in a battle to gain more subscribers than him on YouTube, so if you're a fan of Survivor, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are moving into a player that made a crazy idle play with number 9, Danny Massa. Kind of fitting having Carolyn and Danny from Survivor 44 back to back in our rankings, as they shared so many scenes throughout the game bickering with each other.
Meanwhile, I'm just here.
Me and you, maybe Josh, that's money in the bank right there. So we meet up in the merge, you give me a name, and we take out whoever.
I loved the energy Danny was showcasing all game long, always going for the big move even if it wasn't the smart move.
I got something for you, Jeff. The place for Franny. Okay.
Also, fun fact, I have this super cool picture of me and Danny. Number 8, Lindsay Dalowich. Much like the Tika 3 in Survivor 44, I'm a huge fan of the Taku Alliance from Survivor 42. Obviously containing Jonathan, Lindsay, Omer, and Maryanne. Spoiler alert, I'll be talking about a bunch of those players later in this video as well.
Hey man. We got each other's back. I can look in Omar's eyes and I see that he trusts me.
This is also weird, but I had never peed standing up until I was like 22.
Lindsay is one of those players I view as a triple threat with a social game, physical game, and strategic game. The downfall of the new era of Survivor is gotta be Jeff Probst throwing way too many things into the game. This hurts Lindsay as she simply ran out of luck, covering herself in blood for an advantage, earning the merge, the do or die twist, and not saving Omer.
Let's reveal your box.
Number 7, Yam Yam Archo. This might make people angry with a hot take as Yam Yam was the winner of Survivor 44, but we are ranking him 7th overall. Already ranking Gabler earlier in this series, we are yet to rank Erika, the winner of Survivor 41, and Maryanne, the winner of Survivor 42. Yam Yam will be the first to admit he's got no physical game other than that one super cool challenge he won, but he more than makes up for it with his social game. I went back and forth so many times on ranking Yam Yam higher. My only issue is the edit highlighted Carson as being the decision maker over Yam Yam.
I struggle with seeing people suffering and seeing Carson do so well in this game and be so strong and be so amazing at everything he tackles.
But moving from one winner of Survivor to another winner, we have number 6, Erika Kashapunen. Please hear me out for a second. I'm about to contradict myself like crazy. I literally just said for Yam Yam I ranked him low for the edit, but in Erika's case we didn't receive any edit at all. She didn't receive any screen time, so we have to go off of behind the scene details. And yes, she went back in time and smashed the hourglass.
Playing for me.
The big issue with Erika's game is Survivor was coming off of a break from COVID and the community was so hyped after Winners at War, but the producers did not know how to showcase an under the radar female winner. When you look back at the behind the scene details, I think Erika put together the ideal way to win a new era game of Survivor, but the next winner we'll be talking about soon perfected the way to win a new era game. But before we talk about that winner, we first need to talk about the self-proclaimed one of the best players in Survivor history with number 5, Ricard Foyer. Entering Survivor 41, the big talk throughout the community was the duo of Ricard and Shan.
Hiya. Yeah. Where'd you find it? The seer found it. Ricard, you ate. Come on. Don't you, Ricard? Come on, you tried grilled cheese. I want to try the papaya.
Don't mind me as I get kinda technical with Survivor lingo, but Ricard and Shan pulled off the intentional matching strategy perfectly on the Green Ua tribe. The strategy was invented by Malcolm and Denise during a 3-tribe season of Survivor, as their tribe kept losing challenges and it was down to just the 2 of them, meaning going into the merge the other 2 tribes fought between each other and gave Malcolm and Denise the perfect way in. Oh yeah, and Ricard was a bit of a challenge beast himself.
Ricard thinks he has it. Call it.
Don't make this next vote your last.
That's it. Ricard wins his 3rd individual immunity.
Number 4, Maryanne Oakage. Like I briefly mentioned when talking about Erika, I think she invented the ideal winning game in the new era. However, I think Maryanne perfected the new era of Survivor winning game.
The winner of Survivor 42, Maryanne. That's
5, that's enough. Here we go. Come on over, Jerry.
Here's the recipe for the win. Have a strong social game, don't make moves early on, continue to increase your strategic game as the game moves on, showcase some crazy moves to the jury, have an amazing final tribal council performance, be from Canada. So lesson to future Survivor players, it doesn't matter how weak your game starts off, you just gotta pick it up near the end, and bonus points if you're from Canada. Number 3, Carson Garrett. Be ready for some hot takes as we are entering the top 3 and none of these players won the game. No players from Survivor 41, 1 player from Survivor 42, 1 player from Survivor 43, and Carson from Survivor 44.
I immediately started preparing. I've got like spreadsheets and spreadsheets of Survivor data that I've taken. I 3D printed a ton of puzzles.
What I love so much about Carson's game is that even though he is super young, he was a power player in the game as everyone took him seriously. Oh yeah, I also love the amount of prep time he took into playing Survivor with making his own puzzles for the challenges. If you want to practice your Survivor puzzle skills, comment down below your favorite player. I'll be choosing one lucky comment during my Survivor 45 recap and sending them this replica Survivor puzzle. Or if you want a guaranteed way of picking up a Survivor puzzle, go look at idleplays.com and check out the Survivor 45 Idle Plays drop. Every purchase there helps support me and the channel. Number 2, Jesse Lopez. Coming from Survivor 43, we have the other half of the iconic duo of Cody and Jesse. Other than the player we are about to rank as number 1, Jesse truly is the best, or one of the best, players within the new era of Survivor. Strategic and social mastermind with crazy idle plays, but that means we only have 1 player left to discuss with number 1, Omar Zahir. This dude was truly a strategic mastermind controlling some tribal councils without even being able to vote. So many moments to list on why he's the best. I truly hope we get to see him play Survivor again.